Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs Audio review. Today, I've got the Letshuoer Cadenza 4 for you. This one's been in-house for a while, well over 2 weeks at this point. I've been getting to know it, over that period of time. Over 2 weeks, that's an eternity for me to have something and not do a review on it. So let's just say it's gotten plenty of listening, plenty of testing at this point, but things got in the way, and the T10 Pro, of course, which was very timely because I did end up being the first person to review it, at least that I'm aware of, beating Jaytiss by probably 16 or 18 hours. Much love to him, by the way, and I'll link his channel in the description. Another up-and-comer, another really good reviewer, really honest reviewer. I love his takes on things, and he seems to either have access to or buy things that are a little bit higher end than I get into. So he has some reviews of really kind of expensive sets on his channel too. So if that's of interest to you, definitely check him out. Check him out either way. He does the whole shooting match. So shout out to him. Good guy. Anyway, but I did beat him, even if it was by less than 24 hours. So yeah, the T10 Pro got in the way, and then I got sick. I picked up this cold over the weekend, which now has seemed to be mostly left, feeling much better, and my voice has mostly come back. So I figured we got a lot to do before the end of the year. Let's get to it. Cadenza 4, quick unbox and specs for you. Actually, the unbox on this is really, really nice. Retail on this, regular retail price, probably a little bit inflated. I think it says $250, but $150 seems to be $160 seems to be kind of the going rate at this point, and I'm glad about that, because even though this is a very nice unboxing and has excellent accessories, cable, all of that good stuff, I feel like the price point at $250, it runs into a lot of stiff competition. The 150 mark, you'll see, I comped it with the Supermix 4 from SimGot and the SL41-2 Sleevo from Meyer Audio. Did some graph comparisons, so on and so forth. We'll get to a little bit more appropriate price point wise. And because of that, it is actually, along with those other two sets, going to make the top 10 of 2024. So there's a little preview for you. Inside of the box, you have a drawer, which is pretty cool. It's cardboard, so it's a little sticky, but that's okay. Nice set of a couple of different style ear tips. Got wide bore and normal bore. These are comfy, but I just go with what I always do. Divinous Velvet, SpinFit W1s have now entered sort of the rotation, along with the H570s, those latex tips. And what else did I play around with that worked out pretty well? The wide bores, yeah, I like the normal bore Divinous Velvet a little bit better. But anyway, those are the three sets tips that I used with this set. It is a modular cable, which you will see, but right here you can see that you've got 3.5 and 2.5 balanced. So I know that's kind of getting more rare to find, but there is one in this, which I think is a nice added feature. You have this envelope, which I didn't even open. IEMs sat here. The case, of course, was in here with the tips and cable inside. And this is your new Letshuoer puck, which I like a lot. Get some light on it. I like a lot, but it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet. So any oils that you have on your fingers, you're going to leave marks on it. My only complaint, other than that, I mean, it's solid and the threading is good. Feels very secure and pretty, I would say, watertight. So nice job on the new, see they're all in it, S08, S12 2024. The new Letshuoer puck is really good. Paperwork I didn't really get into. Obviously this is still sealed. How did I manage that? I don't know. I don't really want to tear the paper, but it looks like I'm gonna. A little bit. So yeah, I'm sure it's just user manual and quality control card instructions. Yeah. So, alright, well, probably didn't need to open that, but it's an unboxing, so there you go. That's there. Shut the drawer, And the flap is a magnetic seal, and you are back to the beginning. I like the unboxing on this. I think it's appropriate for the price point. Actually, maybe a little bit nicer than the price point would indicate at $150. On your specs, you've got sensitivity of 102 decibels. Your resistance or impedance is 15 ohms. Frequency response 20 hertz to 40 kilohertz. 3D printed resin, very comfy. Really nice 392 strand silver plated monocrystalline copper cable, which obviously is a modular termination. And then for your drivers, 10 millimeter beryllium coated. We love the beryllium these days. Sonian BA for the mids and 2 Knowles BAs for the highs. So it's a 1x3 configuration. That's a nice box. We'll just leave him right there. I don't know why I assign genders to some of these sets, but this feels like a dude. I don't know why that is, but not that I know what a dude feels like. Wait a minute. Wait, I am a dude. Never mind. Okay. I thought I was heading into weird territory there for a second. Anyway, the Cadenza 4 is a really nicely put together IM. The build quality on this is exceptional. It is 3D printed resin. It's got a nice, like, shimmery aluminum like faceplate on it, matching connectors, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, really nice solid connection point there. It's not going anywhere. The ear hooks on the cable are formed but not overly aggressive, so that part is comfortable. They're super comfy to wear, especially for me, especially with the Divinus velvet tips on them. And yeah, you can just see that. It's not a small shell, but it's not gigantic either. Very, very ergonomically designed. Stick in my ear really quick here. Yeah, that's nice. The one thing that might bother people with smaller ear canals, and I'll just bring it up really quick, is the fact that the nozzles are fairly large. Like, not long, but wide in diameter. So if you have smaller ears and you're working on like medium, small ear tips, you're going to know that they're in. This is not going to be like they go into your ears and disappear kind of situation. But that being said, it's not an uncomfortableness. I did wear these and fell asleep with them the other night when I was, feeling really crappy. Put some music on just nice and low, and I was able to fall asleep very easily with them in. So yeah, outside of the nozzle size, I think they're super comfortable, and the build quality is really, really nice and appropriate, if not above appropriate, for their price point. Very good stuff. Cable, like I said, it's that 392 strand monocrystalline copper silver plated cable. Got your L-shaped termination, which is modular, which is very secure. I love it when they're secure. I don't love it so much when they're not. I've got a cable, I'm not sure which Canaro set it came with, but the modular part just keeps popping off. And that's annoying. So it's nice when they are secure, even if it's not a screw-on. There's enough, friction there that it's gonna stay in place. And I think the L shape also helps that a little bit. If you're not a fan of the L shape, well, sorry, that's the only way it comes, far as I know. Okay, could be different in different markets. Yeah, really, really nice build quality. Really, really nice accessories, and very, ergonomic, very comfortable to wear. Yeah, I mean, A's across the board on the Unbox, on the specs, on the build, on the fit, on the accessories. This is why it's in the top 10, and obviously if it sounded like crap, it wouldn't be in the top 10, but it does come into play. I like things that, come appropriately accessorized. I like things that come with a good cable. The fact that this is modular and you get all 3 terminations is exceptional. Really, really nice detail. Come to expect it from Letshuoer. The year that they've had, they're like, they're in the running for me for IM Company of the Year. And I just don't know if I've got another one off the top of my head that I could put above them. And understanding, of course, that Artie is under their umbrella as well. And Soratune, which I've not heard any sets from Soratune yet, but they're just sort of coming into the market, so I'm sure that'll change. But yeah, between the S08, the S12 2024, the Cadenza 4, and the Artie T10 Pro, Letshuoer had itself a friggin' year. Yes, they did. Anyway, all right, let's get into some sonic impressions and graph. Okay, there we go. Excuse me, a little bit of that cold still hanging on. Oh, by the way, thanks for the advice, guys. Vitamin C, vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc. By the way, magnesium and zinc, great to help you sleep, too. Really good stuff. Yeah, vitamin B. Yeah, it took a bunch of, all the vitamins, all the stuff, all the supplements. And it definitely helped kick the cold out pretty quick. So thank you. And thank you for your thoughts, too. You guys are awesome. All right, so this is the graph of the Cadenza 4. I'm going to try to keep the background lighting from reflecting on the screen too much. Let me just, I'm going to cheat here. I just want to make sure I've got it all the way in the screen here for you. Yeah, okay, we're good. All right. So you can see the way this is lined up is it's a very balanced set. If I run the line from the peak right around 2.5K, that's the highest level of decibels sensitivity on the SPL. It's right above 88. And then the bass, which is more sub-bass than mid-bass focused, but still has a decent amount of mid-bass to it, like a nice amount of mid-bass to it, is less than a decibel lower. So from bottom to top, this is a very, very well-balanced set. I wouldn't call the mids super warm or like necessarily super engaging. They are a little cooler and more clinical, but that means they're more detailed and they're just clearer than some sets, right? So if they're not recessed, you're gonna hear the instrumentation, you're gonna hear the vocals. I felt like male vocals were well balanced, not super powerful. I also felt that female vocals were very precise and accurate without being shouty, but definitely being present. So you can see that in the ear gain. I mean, it's a U, right? Like it's not super bassy, it's not super trebly, but it does extend very well all the way out to about 12K. Maybe not so quite so far into the air region. It does come down a bit, but you're not gonna want for treble energy and detail. One thing that I found was interesting with this set when I was going to sleep the other night and I was listening to Fear Inoculum for like the 80 millionth time. I think it was the end of Invincible, where I was picking up something on the bass guitar that I'd never heard before, and I love it when that happens. And I was sick and I was like out of it, and I was like, is that really there? You know, as I was drifting off to sleep. That's right about the point I fell asleep. And then I listened to it the next morning. I'm like, oh, it is there. Oh, I never noticed that before. It's kind of like a second or third harmonic coming off of the bass guitar line. And it's just really interesting because, you know, if a set can pick stuff like that up, that impresses me, right? I think it's kind of like, I wasn't expecting it out of the Cadenza 4. All right, graph aside, you're going to love this, I think. Most people, it's very universal in its tuning, okay? There's enough bass to satisfy bass heads. There's enough treble to satisfy treble heads. Maybe not enough air for the true air heads, but, you know, and the mids are just really, really well done without being too warm or cloying, and not too recessed and not too cold. You know, it's just kind of like got that nice balance all the way through the frequency response. I had this sort of a similar reaction to the SM4, which is one of the comps, where it just felt like when I first started listening to it, it didn't excite me enough. It was just kind of like there, you know? But same thing with the SM4. The more I listened to it, the more I got to appreciate it. It's subtle, but it is extremely good. Like, it's not just coming in your face with sub bass or mid bass. It's not in your. Did I just say coming in your face? Sorry. Oh my god. Anyway, it's not doing that either. It's also not like super, like annoying in the ear gain, right? It's got a nice, easy sort of slope to it, which translates to no shoutiness, no piercingness, and there's not a lot of peak in the treble either. You're looking at a fairly extended but not very peaky treble. I think this little peak here at 11, 12K, I think that is like the 2B or the Knowles BA's sort of picking up that last little bit of treble energy. And the only thing I'll have to say that is possibly a negative about it is that if you don't like, and I've said this before, if you don't like the BA timbre in your treble, it's probably not going to be your favorite set. Because it's there, and if you know Knowles BAs and you're used to Knowles BAs and what they do in the upper treble, and you like it, like I do, or it doesn't bother you, it's maybe more accurate, it doesn't bother me, you're going to be fine. But if you don't like BA timbre in the mid to upper treble, set's not going to be for you. I don't know that it's like, I don't feel like it's any better or worse than like the planar timbre that you can get up there, or DDs can be kind of harsh when it gets to the upper treble. It's definitely a little softer. It's non-fatiguing, but it's a BA. They're BAs up there. You just do. It's obvious. That being said, high quality. It's not like super swishy or splashy or fizzy or whatever. It's clear but distinctly BA treble, no doubt. So that would be my only knock / observation on it, is that I know some of y'all are sensitive to the BA timbre. This is not going to be a set that you're going to necessarily love because of that. That's all. I mean, if you talk about things like the Fan 3, which it's going to be my IAM of the year. I keep saying that, but it's true. It is. You don't get that sense, that BA timbre sort of feel up there. It just feels like super, super natural treble. This, not quite there. Not quite to that level of clarity and, finesse. But hey, for less than half the price, regular retail price, or at least $100 less, hard to complain, right? I mean, unless you bought the Fan 3 like I did on the early bird special through the mailing list, if we're looking at 175 versus 150, the Fan 3 is on a different level. So that's $25 worth spending right there. Not to get too far off track, let's stay with apples to apples here. The first set that I compared it to was the Super Mix 4 from Simgot, which my first impression of was, oh, this is an IM of the year candidate, and then my sort of more experienced impression of it was, I don't know if it's gonna make it. And then I went back to it and I'm like, yeah, it should be on the list. It's not the IM of the year, but it's going to be on the list, and it's going to be fairly high in the top 10, I would say. Bring up the graph. Build quality on the SM4 is very similar. I think I like the Cadenza 4 a bit more. It just feels a little bit more premium. But these aluminum face plates on the SM4 are nice, with that sort of rose gold ring on there. Insofar as the frequency response graph, you're going to see a lot of similarities. There we go. If you could even see the difference, probably not very well. But the SM4 is the lighter shade orange, if you can see it, which starts slightly higher in the sub bass, and that does translate. It's just shade more sub bass. But everything else in the graph looks fairly similar until you get to the mid to upper treble, and that is where the SM4 trails off a bit, and the Cadenza 4 continues with its energy and has a little bit more stage and has a little bit more sparkle. But they're fairly comparable sets. Which one would I choose to listen to for long periods of time based on everything, including comfort? Oh, that's a tough one. Recency bias, too, right? Like, I mean, it could be the Cadenza 4 just because of that. Toss up. I don't know how these are going to rank, but they're going to rank in the top 10. I'm just not sure which one's going to rank over the other. They're both really, really good. I'm going to give the edge to the Cadenza 4, probably partially because of recency bias, partially because of the slightly better treble energy, but also partly because this is not the cable that comes with the SM4. This is a Canera cable, and the SM4's cable had some polarity issues with some of the sets that were released. That was a big F up. And the accessories, like from the ear tips, just presentation wise, yeah. The best part of the SM4 are the Sonics and the earphones. Everything else is kind of like, eh. Case is all right. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna give that the edge. Second comparison. The SM4 is a different configuration. Obviously, you know that by now. It's like dynamic, planar, BA, PZT. Really cool config. It's excellent sounding. I just wish they'd done a better job accessorizing it. So, anyway. Slevo SL41-2 from Meyer Audio was another comp. I've got the cable that came with this is very nice, but I actually have a Hakujai cable on here, the Obsidian List from TAC Cables. Just the best. It's recessed 2-pin, and it sounds so freaking good on these. Let's see. Graph on that will be, there we go. Let me take the SM4 out. There's a pretty distinctive difference. More bass focus, warmer mids, and then a little bit more of the ear gain energy and a little bit of peak here and there in the treble. You'd think that this would add to me being like, I like the Cadenza 4 and the Super Mix 4 better, but I don't. I like the Slevo better. There's something about the energy of this set that sets it apart and puts it above both the SM4 and the Cadenza 4 for me. Something about it. I don't know how to put it into words. It doesn't really match up. I mean, it's pretty well balanced with the graph, it's like, but it's got this dip around 4K. I don't pick it up. It doesn't sound cupped or distant or hollow in any way, shape, or form. I just love this set. This is possibly going to be a top 5. So yeah, for just a little bit more money, it's fairly comparably accessorized to the Cadenza 4, except you don't get the modular cable. And the ear tips are not super great, but I end up using my own anyway. Those are the W1s I used on that most recently. Yeah. Where does this guy land insofar as recommendations go? Well, if it were $250, it would get a recommend if you wanted something like, say, different than the Dyna Quattro or the Estrella in that price range, something with a little more balance, a little less bass, a little more finesse to it. Thankfully, it's not, because I don't think it quite competes with those sets. For $150, it gets a highly recommended. And it better, because it's going to be in the top 10 list, and there's nothing on the top 10 list that doesn't get a highly recommended ranking from me. So the Cadenza 4 will get a highly recommended for what I just said, for its balance, for its finesse, for its clarity, for its extension in the treble, overall performance, micro detail retrieval, everything that you could want or expect from a set around $150 is there. It is classy, it is well put together, it is well built, it is well accessorized, it is an all-arounder, didn't have a weak point as far as genres went. A really nice set. Another winner from Letshuoer. And it'll sneak up on you. If you get this and right out of the gate you're like, maybe a little bit boring, that's kind of how I felt. Just give it some time. It'll grow on you like a fungus. Gross. Anyway, yeah, I would say if you end up ordering them, and I will include a purchase link in the description as well. If you end up ordering them and you don't love them immediately, give it a few days. I'm telling you, the more you get to know them, the better they are. And I love sets like that, you know? It's nice to get it right out of the gate, but sometimes it's nice when you warm up to something after a while. And that's exactly what happened to the Cadenza 4, and that's exactly why I'm glad I did this review later than sooner. That's going to wrap it for today. Time's up. All right, till next time. Love y'all. Nothing but peace to you, and we'll see you soon.